Hello and welcome to this video where I'll be sharing a walk I did around some of the Caldbeck Fells in the Lake District, an area also known as Back of Skiddaw. Originally going up Blencathra hadn't been part of my plan, but I added it on the day as the weather was so good and I was feeling up to it. So I started from Mosedale where there's a rocky car park. From here I headed up to Carrock Fell and then west to Pike, where I briefly joined the Cumbria Way. From here, it was down to Great Lingy Hill, then Knott, Little Calva, and Great Calva. I then headed down into the valley and then up the other side to Blencathra. After admiring the view for some time, it was then back down to the start via Bowscale Fell. So, time to get going. So the car's down there and I've come up this slope on what looked like the beginnings of the faint path that I was looking to follow, but it kind of disappeared and just turned into bushwhacking through bracken, which is pretty hard work. So I've made my way back over to a stream and I'll just follow this up because the terrain's a bit easier next to the stream. So yeah, I'll follow this up and see if I can join a path higher up, and if not, then there'll be some more bushwhacking higher up, I think. Now this looks like some juniper, and there was a little information board down in the car park talking about the juniper. It's one of only 3 coniferous plants native to Great Britain, and it's actually fairly rare now. And this is one of the few areas where it grows, so I'll try and avoid stepping on that. Yeah, nice to see. And here are some slightly bigger specimens of juniper. So I think I'm nearly out of the bracken now, and looking at the map I've done just under 100 metres of ascent, which isn't that much, but it feels like a lot more hacking up terrain like this. But anyway, we've already got quite a nice view. So car park down there, and over there you might just be able to make out Skiddaw House over there at the end of the valley, which is a very remote youth hostel. So yeah, nice view. It's been a little bit damp and mossy underfoot coming up this last bit, but not too bad really. So over there we've got views across to the Pennines, and then over there I can now see the top of Carrock Fell, which is where I'm heading now. So yeah, nearly up to the ridgeline, and there's some sheep watching me. So Carrock Fell is now behind me, and I'm heading towards Pike, and it's just a fantastic day. The views are amazing, temperature's just right, especially now there's a bit of a breeze, because it was a little bit too hot climbing up the lower slopes where there wasn't a breeze, but it's fantastic now. So yeah, what a brilliant day. So there's Caldbeck Fell over there, and I'm heading up to Pike up here. So I'm heading down from High Pike now towards Hairstones and Great Lingy Hill. Interesting names. So I was wondering about having a bite to eat on top there, but there were loads of flies, midges around, so I'm going to give that a miss. Maybe find somewhere else with a bit more of a breeze, hopefully. But yeah, it's again lovely views from the top, and this track that I'm walking down now is actually part of the Cumbria Way. It goes over High Pike and then down into the valleys and up towards Skiddaw House, which we could see earlier. According to the map, this little hill I'm on now is called Hairstones, and it's also a county boundary. Yeah, there's nothing really here. So now heading onwards towards Great Lingy Hill, along this little path, and then I think I'm going to rejoin the Cumbria Way for a little bit. And you can see that track that it follows down there. Right, this is Great Lingy Hill that we're coming up to, and straight ahead of us you can also see Knott, which is where we'll be going next. So we're going to come down from this hill and join a track down there. So I've just gotten to the top of Great Lingy Hill, following this path, and the next place I'm going is Knott, over there. However, this path goes off here, up the right side of Knott, and the route I want to follow goes that direction and then up along that ridge a little way. So I don't want to go down that path. I'm going to go this way and rejoin the Cumbria Way for a short distance. Aha! Now it wasn't obvious from the top of that little hill, but there is a little path going down the way I want, so I'm following this little path now. It's been quite a steep pull up, that little bit getting up towards Knott, but I think from here on it'll be a bit more gradual. Right, nearly at the top of Knott now. It's nice, you can see the view opening out a bit again. You can see across to Blencathra and Skiddaw. Yeah, still a lovely day. So I've just finished my lunch now and have been enjoying the lovely view from the top of Knott. So now that I'm refueled, you can have a look at where we're going next, which is down there to Little Calva, or actually I think that's over there, and then up to Great Calva, and then down into the valley. When I get down to the valley, I could go straight back to the car and home again, or I could go up Blencathra up there, which is what I'm tempted to do because it's a lovely day, and I can't remember if I have been up there before or if it's just been a long time, but it'd be nice to go to the top of Blencathra. So I think I'll just see how I feel when I get down from Great Calva and what the time is, because if it's getting on I should probably get home. But yeah, absolutely lovely day. We're now coming up to the top of Little Calva, and the path has run out a little bit, but it's really interesting flora on the ground. All sorts of lovely colourful grass and moss, and pools of water to watch out for. Don't want to step in there. So yeah, I think the top should be somewhere around here. I'm going to check the map. Here we are. I think this is the top of Little Calva. Oh, it's ominous. Bone in the can. Yeah. So that's not where I've come from. Right, let's get going towards Great Calva. So I've come across from Little Calva over there, and this is now the last pull up to Great Calva. Hurrah! So here we are on top of Great Calva. So we can see most of where I've been today so far. So over there is Caldbeck Fell, and then over there is High Peak. We came down and around, and there's Knott, and down there is Little Calva, and then after this I'll be heading, I think, down that path and then straight down the hill into the valley where the Cumbria Way runs all the way along, and Skiddaw House is just over there, hidden by that outcrop. So yeah, I'm fancying going up Blencathra. So to get up there, I'm going to go down into the valley, walk up the valley a short way, and then just go up this slope and up to the top.
So that rather nice path which I was following has become a little bit harder to follow, and my legs are getting exfoliated by the heather from walking down. But that's not too bad. So the path has got better again. I'm not sure why, but it's better again. I think this path up here is the Cumbria Way that we're going to join onto. A bit of erosion there. So I had wanted to try and cross the river and go over to this hill to head up to Blencathra. I had wanted to do that around here, but I don't know if I want to wade through all that heather. So I'm trying to decide whether to head a little bit further down where it looks like there's less heather and I'll just be able to get across and then cross and go up the hill. Well, hopefully I'll be able to cross, or whether to just go across here and have a shorter route. You know what, that will add a fair distance on, so I think I'm just gonna head through the heather and try and cross the river and head up the hill, because I've already walked through enough heather, so it can't be any worse than what I've done so far. And if I follow this little damp patch, which is clear up to here, the heather might not be as tall and scratchy. He says, hopefully. Right, here we are. For a moment there, I was wondering whether the river was going to be too deep for me to cross, but I don't think that'll be a problem. Actually, there's some good stones down this way, maybe. Okay, I think this is the spot. I've made it across the river and this quite a boggy bit on the other side, and now just getting up this embankment, and then I'll start slogging uphill. I was wondering if there would be an obvious path or something further down, but I don't think there was. God, it's hard work coming up here, and I need a rest for a drink. So I've stopped to have a break, and while I was stopped I was looking at the map a bit, and I think I've decided that I shouldn't have bothered crossing where I did, which was down there. I should have gone down a bit further to there, where a path leads up along the little tributary. It leads off up the in the valley up there, up that way, and that would probably have been easier overall, and because Blencathra is over that side, after crossing the river there, I could have cut up across this bit here, and there is another path which on the map it seems to start around there and then head off up in the right direction, and that would probably have been a better idea than cutting through all that heather and then getting across the river there in a not particularly easy spot where I got a wet foot. So yeah, a few lessons for the future, and maybe I should have had a bit more of a look at the map. Right, I've gone past the steepest bit of the ascent now, so I'm just slogging over this mossy grass. Yeah, okay, I've made it up the steepest bit of the ascent now, I think, so I'm just making my way through this mossy grass, and that is Blencathra that we can see in front of us. So on the left is Atkinson Pike, and then I think that second lump is Blencathra itself. So yeah, we're just headed up there, and after that we will be heading over there, and then down into that valley, which is where the car is, and over behind us we can see Great Calva, which is where I came down from before. Just in case you were thinking that grass was boring, it's absolutely not. Look at the amazing colours on this. Lovely sort of orange and orange to burnt orange. So despite being sort of hard going, it is a really nice area to walk through. Here we go. We've now joined this sort of relatively well-worn path, which I think I had seen on a satellite view maybe. And that's one of the reasons why I was heading up onto this hill. So I'm still walking up towards Blencathra, but what a lovely view over there. Right, I'm nearly at the top now. It's just the last steep bit up to Atkinson Pike. After that, it's only a few hundred metres to Blencathra itself. But yeah, the light is absolutely amazing tonight. Well, this afternoon, this evening, whenever it is. I'm sure the view will be even better at the top. Last few metres before the top. I'm really glad I came up here because it's stunning. on my way down now. It was absolutely, the views at the top were absolutely stunning. I could quite happily have stayed there all evening, but sadly time to get going. Need to get down the road, so I'm heading back this way towards back the way I came, and then down towards Bannerdale Crags, and then back to the car, which is in the valley just over that hill. So yeah, it was definitely worthwhile coming up Blencathra, because the views from the top are just amazing, and what an evening for it. So that's where I came up to Blencathra, but I'm now heading this way towards Bannerdale Crags, and then Bowscale Fell and the car. So I'm just skirting round Bannerdale Crags now, and that in front of us is Bowscale Fell, which will be our last top of the day. That was Bowscale Fell, so onwards towards Tarn Crags, which we are hopefully going to go round rather than down, and then back to the valley and the car. Crags, which I mentioned earlier. So this is where I cut up the hill this morning trying to follow what I thought was a very faint path. And I think in future what I do is just follow the watercourse up until it gets past all the bracken. So I think that will just be easier.
So, overall, I had a brilliant day and I really enjoyed this walk. The weather was fantastic, there were great views and interesting terrain. I'm glad I added on Blencathra because it really was the highlight of the walk. I'd happily do this walk again, but there are a couple of changes I'd make. Firstly, when heading up to Carrock Fell from the road right at the start, I'd just follow the stream up Poddy Gill rather than trying to follow a trace of a path, which didn't really exist. Secondly, when it comes to crossing the River Caldbeck between Great Calva and Blencathra, I'd try to cross either just to the west of Wiley Gill, which is a tributary to the Caldbeck near the base of Great Calva, or approximately a kilometre to the northeast, just past Black Hazel Beck. According to the map, there should be paths at both of these crossing points, and it looks like no heather bashing would be required on either route, which would be an improvement. Finally, I would consider parking elsewhere, or at least having a backup plan. There are a few parking spots just off the road near the car park in Mosedale, as well as a couple just up the track adjacent to the car park, but I still think that they'd fill up quickly on a weekend, so you'd have to be there early. However, the car park itself and most of the nearby spots are actually quite rough, and they're more suitable for SUVs with a bit of extra ground clearance than cars, in my opinion. My Toyota Yaris was fine in the end, but I had to be extremely careful negotiating the rocks. There are alternative options for parking around Mungrasdale and the actual hamlet of Mosedale, which would probably only add a few kilometres to the walk. So, thanks for watching, see you next time.